From Bears Last Stand to Saban's empire, we built the league, broke the mold, and rewrote the code. Crimson Tide, unstoppable, undeniable, untouchable. 7-9 champs, goal line stand. Barry Cross made Penn State fold their hand. Chile ran, Ogilvie danced. Sugar Bowl glory, banner advance. Ray Perkins brought Bennett's wrath. 3-time All-American cleared the path. Bill Curry's crew, Siren Stacy's fire. Deep steep crown, Crimson never tired. Gene Stallings, 9-2 reign. Teague stripped Miami, left them in pain. Jay Barker Lassick, Odin Tide. Langham locked down, Thorpe took flight. We're nothing but a winner. The best to ever do it. Crimson Tide rolls deep. No one can outdo it. Built for the lights, bred for the fight. We don't chase greatness, we define it right. Saban touchdown, turned fire to flame. 6 rings later, they chant his name. And Graham ran wild, first Heisman won. 2009, Texas came undone.
Roll Tide, roll. Alabama Nation, how are you today? I just want to say how you doing. Thank you for watching me here on TightSports. Please subscribe to the channel and all that good stuff. And remember my live show, Around the Herd, 7 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Central. We talk about all Alabama sports, a lot of football, a lot of basketball, but we don't ignore the ladies of the Crimson Tide. We love them as well. Hope you do too. Hope everything's going well in your world. That's for the ladies. Well, the rest of the world has been sleeping on their prospects, and the Crimson Tide is out here just rolling to a brand new era of college football. And I'm here to give you straight, no fluff. Just get the tough stuff down when we're talking about these rule changes for 2026. Yeah, we're talking about the NCAA rule changes. Yeah, this is for them. Yeah, we don't lie. Hey, until Congress takes over, they all we got for right now, just get down to it, man. Everybody's been, if your team has ever been impacted by a loss of a player in the second half, first quarter, or the first half of the next game, then you want to, we're talking about targeting, man. The whole head on a swivel targeting reform. We want all to see all the big hits. We want to keep, these kids safe out here, man. They're going to change this thing a little bit. I kind of like it. We want them clean hits. The NCAA is stepping in and, finally stop acting like every collision is a crime or a felony. They're going to give it some kind of new nuance. So they're going to go with a level 1, level 2 scenario. It's like, I don't know, what was that? They had a face mask penalty. It was intentional. Then they had a unintentional face mask, like your hand unintentionally went up and hit that man right in his booger holder. How did you do that? I mean, unintentionally. So anyway, the level 1 is going to be a oopsie daisy. this is for accidental bang bang play, where a guy's just playing hard, but he catches somebody on the chin. We're talking about a 15 yard for safety's sake. You know what I'm saying? Everybody got it. I still don't like it because sometimes the offensive player is trying to get low. And he gets lower. My man's coming in at his midsection. When he goes low, you hit him in the forehead. But anyway, this is going to be no walk of shame. The guy gets to stay in the game. You don't have to walk in the locker room. Like doing this and like they're doing me. They give him a 15-yard penalty. But I don't know. The level 2 is going to be chill out, son. Chill out, son. That's a level 2. But chill out. Yeah, hey, You've done enough, his son. This is when you get reckless, using that crown of the helmet as a weapon. I remember when I played Pee-wee football, on the side of the helmet, they said, this helmet should not be used for spearing. I don't know if they're still on the helmets these days, but I think that was on that warning label was on those helmets before the warning label hit the side of a pack of cigarettes. I'm not sure, but I mean, it was on there. I had a Max Pro, right? I didn't wear right there. I had a Max Pro. I don't even know if either one of those companies are still in business. Anyway, that level 2, now that's going to cost you 15 yards, and you get to take a shower very early. So we got to keep the game pretty. We can't have you out here playing like, you playing like a game of human bowling balls. You know what I'm saying? Old Ruddy Lot. Lester Hayes, Night Train Lane. You know what I'm saying? Taking folks' head off. Not Lester Hayes, but Night Train Lane. You watch some of those videos, you figure out exactly what they call that man, Night Train. But I suggest they ought to have a level 3. They ought to have a level 3, man. Just take it to the next level. You must have lost your damn mind. Level 3. So this is for the player who thinks he's in a gladiator pit. It's a blatant total disregard for life and limb. And we worry more about the life thing than that. That leaves fans at home needing a compress and a prayer. Them hits, and they're very rare now. I got PTSD from watching football in the 70s and 80s. I wasn't even out there. I was a child. I didn't even watch horror movies. I watched the NFL. That was hard. That was horrific enough. Steve Atwater, Scott Case. Dude, what was it? Scott Case was the guy who was in Atlanta. Just frustrated because he was in Atlanta. Let everybody feel it. Let everybody feel it. But this is the level reserved for, a hit that's so egregious that they cause a legitimate trauma to the families watching at home or in the doggone stand. This is so bad. It's so bad of a hit. I think you ought to get a whole game suspension, maybe even a game and a half. I mean, if you can just tell, this was what's crazy. Somebody go for somebody's knee like this, and you wouldn't say anything, and dude could, be going in for ACL surgery or just reconstruct his whole knee. Nobody says anything. That's unfortunate. But maybe you want to consider that too. But we don't see a lot of those these days. But I'm talking about a hit straight to the head, the player's down, and then he, the scenarios like, I kind of hear it now. It's like family gather around. A family's gather around and glow at the television screen because they just witnessed something that defied physics, logic, and home training. And we want to talk about the speed of the game. We want to, but what we just saw, everyone, that wasn't football. That was a glitch in the matrix of human decency. Referees, don't even look at the monitor. Don't go to the headset. Just look in that man's eyes and just say, we are officially entering the level 3. You must lost your damn mind territory. Let's go to the tape, but warn the kids to look away. That's how that's what we need to do, man. And you look at the whole thing, because sometimes if you look at the replays, it's like you can see the launch, not a tackle. You don't see you see a human missile seeking the target that didn't even have the ball yet sometimes. And he didn't lead with the shoulder. He led with a prayer and a crown of steel aiming straight for the stars. By stars, I mean, the opponent's ear hole. I mean, some of these folks might be causing damage. They are some real troublemakers. I mean, thank God for some of them having football, because, some of them would get locked up if they didn't have that. Then wanton disregard sometimes. There's no fundamentals here, folks. There's no wrap up, no technique. The dude just flying through the air. He got a personal vendetta in his back pocket. And he got a vendetta against gravity, against the cervical vertebrae. This is a man who woke up and he chose chaos and violence over his own health and everyone else's. It's a flashback to the days like slightly when I was a little boy. And then let's talk about the trauma that some of these hits could cause. And we don't see them. See, I watch different levels of football. Y'all got to reach down to the FCS level or reach over to some other schools that really hate each other, but they just not on national TV all the time. Those kids still have parents. So somewhere in the third row, that boy's mama just dropped her popcorn. at the living room or wherever. The dog went hiding up under the house in the sofa or whatever. The hit was so loud that it rattled the ice in the sweet tea. Some of these things are egregious and over the top. I think they even beyond like a flag. They're like, okay, I hate to go like they did in hockey. I don't know how they ever worked out when they started arresting people for some of them checks, checking a man against the board, or I don't know, giving him a flying elbow when his face is already in the ice. So, yeah, you ought to have an extended scene. You ought to have a big, almost a police escort. We'll make sure you don't hit nobody else before you leave this stadium. We want to walk this man not to the locker room, not to the bus. We want to see him off the property. We don't see those that often. And this guy, not only does he get the walk of shame and all that stuff, and we'll see you in a game and a half or at least a whole game, this man ought to have to go to some kind of have a 15-minute conversation with a therapist. Or make him go get in the ring with one of them UFC people who want to get physical. Or both. I'm sure some of those guys in UFC's got a couple of master's degrees that can do legal therapy. They're probably licensed. And then you have to write a handwritten note to the family, man, and to the player. Here's what I was thinking. I wasn't. I'm stupid. My apologies. And I don't think it's ever going to happen again because, probably lying. But make it right. Let's go the extra mile, NCAA, while y'all doing nothing. So this is all the NCAA got. They got a little time to do this, man. But that's it. But it's unbelievable. Yeah, you won't see people playing our SEC or in college football. You want to see them play hard and fast, but you want them to play smart. And we definitely don't want to see Alabama players get hit with this stuff when it's inverted. We had a play where the running back hit the hole. He was leaning forward in the hole. I think it was Bray Hubbard. He came and just popped the guy, but by the time Bray got there, he lowered his head. It wasn't Bray. It was Keon Saab. Somebody. I can't think of his name, but he got suspended. He got put out of the game and suspended for the next half. I think he was one of the rotational defensive backs, but it was an inverted hit. It was crown to crown, but it was at the line of scrimmage. It wasn't like the guy was catching a ball over the middle. These things need to be need to be waved off. That's not even, how is that a penalty? Let's just wave that off. That's just, that pisses me off. Moving on to another rule change or whatever. The Great Migration. The portal used to be a 24/7 buffet, but the NCAA, they're trying to put a lock on the kitchen door. They changed it all to a 15-day flash sale from the January 2nd through the 16th. And you better have your bags packed because and set your GPS before the clock strikes midnight, so you're gonna be stuck with your school. The problem I got for me is that I don't know. It's like no people go in, but when you could come out it's a long process. I'm just starting to look at the players Alabama has taken in this year, recruiting and transfers, and I think they still coming. So we got a lot to catch up on. I got about 40, 45 players I got to do some breakdown on. So the NCAA snatched away the spring portal, like a plate of ribs at tailgate. You ain't supposed to be there. Did you bring that potato salad with the wrap? Man, get this man out of here. Can't have raisins and potato salad, folks. So if you don't move in January, you stay put until the leaves turn brown again, I guess. You just stuck where you are. And if you're playing for a national champ on January 19th, which hopefully we will be going forward, the NCAA gives you a 5-day grace period to decide whether you're going to stay in a land of milk or honey or you'll look for a new zip code. That's a real heavy choice because sometimes you can go get another ring, but got to take care of mom. Let's give mamas a little hand clap there. You got to take care of mom. You got to take care. Let's give something to the dads out there. They need sometimes dad need a new truck. That's it for you, Dad. So they give them a 5-day grace period, and then they say if your coach gets the axe, oh yeah, I don't like this as much. You don't just get the boat no more. I don't know who this is going to help other than the teams that's trying to get players out of there. Now you got to wait 5 days. Listen to this now. They're saying that if your coach gets axed, and I think this is going to hit the courts and get overturned because this is stupid. If your coach gets axed, you don't just bolt like a deer in headlights. I guess you can still announce your intentions so people can start calling you. You got to wait 5 days after the new guy's hired and see if he got that it factor or if you're headed for the exit. Now that gives the teams time to negotiate, but that's unfair to the player. You taking case of the people on the other side of the state. They got rid of that dude, game 8, 7, 8, and they hired the guy in the middle of the playoffs. How long was that? 2 months? To me, to be fair to the team and the player, I leave it like it was. You got like 14 days to get your stuff together. I give you you got to hold on for I'm going to give the school a week, right? To negotiate with people they want to keep. Some people you don't want to keep everybody. But some people have been paid so much, you don't want them leaving. Right? So he was getting, I don't know, $1 million. You may give him $1.5 million just to stick to see whoever the coach is. That might work. But to say I can't move until, no. Because that allows the school to wait. They could have, I don't know, some schools could know they're going to hire such and such, this, that, and the other. But what if they hire a coach after January 16th and the portal's closed? That ain't right. So I don't like that one. I just get the school a week to negotiate with their players, and the guy gets another 2 or 3 weeks to decide whether he wants to stay, and that'll be it. But the hockey schools will have too much control, to me, if you're saying I have to stay here with this interim coach, and maybe you fired him for cause. Maybe he got fired on, I don't know, 5th game of the season. He got arrested for kicking in somebody's door and having a lapse of his mental capacity and just went off because somebody contacted someone he loved and say, yo, I've been getting down with your. So now it's week 5. I gotta wait all the way to like the end of the season, which is 3 months away, because whoever they hire as a head coach is probably a head coach or a coordinator somewhere else. 3 months? All right. NCAA, they don't mind going to court. But these days when they go to court, they're like, let's call this a session. This is the case of something against the NCAA. NCAA be like, hey, okay, before we get started, hey, my bad, we good. They can do what they want to do. Don't mind us at all. I mean, the NCAA has no teeth, man. Every time they go to court, they lose. But they win a couple things, little small things. But stuff like this, they're not gonna win this. Then you got the let's see, money talks in 2026, but the NCAA is trying to bow their back a little bit. Third party NIL deals over $600. They started this last year, but now they try to make it official. They have to go through this NIL Go Clearinghouse. Even in the Wild Wild West, I think somebody's got to keep the receipts and make sure everything's on the up and up. What are you talking about? I mean, what are you talking about? That don't make no doggone sense. Unless you got people out here that's, I don't know, crazy running backs and they are doing, ads for crack dealers. I mean, what are we talking about? Who are you to determine what is appropriate or what looks right? Okay, this lineman over here, he's doing a Speedo commercial. I don't understand. Is it American money and is it a business? That's all y'all need to know. Anything else is not governed by the NCAA. You know, you ever heard of the IRS? Have you ever heard of the Secret Service? Secret Service has two jobs. I don't know if y'all know that. Protect the president and people around him. And they also protect the money supply. Okay? Then you have a thing called the United States Department of Treasury. FinCEN, Financial Information Security, whatever. We got laws to protect money, anti-money laundering. We got all this stuff. So please tell me what the NCAA is doing other than charging these guys a fee for reviewing their agreements. I guarantee you, it could be 0.02, 0.05. I would put, and if they not charging the kids, they charging the school. There's no way they set up a clearinghouse for almost 15,000 players. Some have multiple agreements, and you are going through them line by line by line, talking about you making sure they're appropriate. What is inappropriate? I'm just finding out people at West Georgia are getting paid. I don't even know what I think that's FCS. I'm like, why are you getting paid to go to F? I don't understand it, but the rule is you can pay players to play at West Georgia. Jacksonville State. What's going to be inappropriate? If somebody down there decides to give a Jacksonville State football player $100,000 to sit in front of his chicken fixing spot, what business is it of yours? Well, nobody in Alabama's getting paid over $100,000. Why would he? Tell me why this makes sense. So y'all think the NCAA gonna sniff out money laundering better than the FBI and all these other people? Banks have rules they gotta live by too. They just can't be just taking wads of money from people. You ever made a deposit for over $10,000? There's an additional form that comes with that. What? And what work? This is just the NCAA trying to stick their nasty little probes in folks' cash. I guarantee they're not doing this for free. Either the school is paying, the SEC is paying, or them kids are paying. They're getting a little processing fee across the top. How much of the NIL deals you think they're going to process in next year? What, $100 million? Huh? What is 0.75 of $100 million? Huh? That's cash. They broke without these kids. They don't need this. NIL Go is no different than the NCAA 17 years ago, telling somebody, oh, your coach can't give you a suit to go to your grandmama's funeral. What inappropriate stuff do they need to legislate other than, oh yeah, he's a college football player. Yeah, we got his grades, and he plays for his team. His coach said he's on the team. School can't do that, because everything else, y'all crossing strings. NCAA, we don't need y'all. Moving on. Quarterbacks are moving faster than 2-minute drill than a 2-minute drill in Brighton Stadium. But if you ain't the starter, by the time the spring game rolls around, you're basically a free agent in a fancy jersey looking for a new home. So what they are allowing now is these grad transfers can just leave whenever they feel like, they don't feel it no more. You know what I'm saying? You don't feel it, you just, they can just, they ain't got to wait for nothing. They ain't got to wait for that January window like the freshmen and stuff and sophomores, keeping the locker room from turning into basically a revolving door for degree holders. They can just get up out of there, and just transitioning for a second. I don't know what's really different about that particular rule. They tried to address it, but Bozo, Roger Goodell, he's entered the chat about this thing, and he's looking for some clarity in the chaos. The commission is calling for a little order. Roger Goodell is asking for clarity in the college game, saying the NFL will continue to support those 3-year eligibility rules, which I blame the players union for, to keep the farm system strong. let's say that's just, it is what it is. It's a farm system. That's what everybody's school's been paying for. It's a farm system from the NFL. We thank you for your tax dollars. He wants to make sure the kids stay in school and mature so they don't get eaten alive by the sharks to the next level. So Goodell is saying he sees the NIL as a way to give football players financial training wheels before they hit the multi-million-dollar NFL checks. Sorry, I want to tell y'all one thing. Carson Beck made almost 5 times more money than Jalen Milroe this year. Now, he says it's all about teaching these young men how to handle the zeros before the zeros get big enough to buy a small island. So, effective July 2025, roster limits, they got a makeover with the house settlements. The scholarship limits are out and the roster caps are in, meaning teams have to be more selective than a Bama fan choosing which championship shirt to wear on Mondays. Hi, Bob. How you doing today? How was your weekend? Look, here's the thing, man. When it comes to this whole thing with the NFL, you don't want them getting involved with this. I just posted a short. I don't know what's going on in the NFL. NFL should not have anything to do with college football. They should leave it alone. They don't want to let these guys come in after they've done 2 years or a year or whatever. It don't even matter. They're getting football players from all over the place now. Only thing Goodell could do for college football is to let him borrow their lawyers, talk to the NFLPA, let them borrow their lawyers and come up with a collective bargaining agreement so everybody can negotiate and you ain't got to mess with NIL Go, just something else waiting to get shot down by the courts. They're not going to do it, though. The commissioners, they don't want to negotiate with these kids because they still got kids that are playing, that are contributing to our enjoyment, and they ain't getting nothing because they're a rotational player at Fresno State. They're in the rotation somewhere at Jacksonville State. They down in South Alabama. They may be getting paid $10,000, but they're not getting paid the $250,000 that they got the guys. They're supposed to stop every play after play after play when they play a big school, a Power 4 school. There's not going to be any type of equality there. So I want Goodell to just kick rocks and go sit somewhere. So anyway, the game is fast. The game is moving. Those are the rule changes they have thus far. Some of them I kind of appreciate. Other ones I don't think are necessary, especially NIL Go. And that's all I got on this subject. Until next time, always remember, roll, tide, rope.